So it's not that you do a lot of
Exactly.
peer-to-peer to others. It's basically like a drug dealer. It's just the same person you come back to get your cryptocurrencies. Welcome to Crypto Insights, where we teach you about crypto. In this video, it's not me teaching you crypto, it's Victory. Victory is from Nigeria, and I'm just really curious to know how crypto lives in Nigeria. So Victory, thank you for joining. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
All right, thank you very much for the warm welcome. I'm Victory. I'm an artist, a crypto enthusiast, a community moderator, and a Discord expert. And I've been into the crypto space since 2018, but I wasn't very serious with it. I just got into some Ponzi scheme, and then that was it. I lost and left the space. Then I got back in 2020 during the COVID, and we were forced to stay back indoors. So I got busy with some Ponzi schemes once again, and it was been from there I got to know about some crypto influencers or some people that were interested in crypto, because the Ponzi scheme included smart contracts and they were the ones showing it to us. So I kind of got in, made some money, was to introduce, the Ponzi scheme was just in a format of introduce two persons, the two persons introduce two more persons or four more persons, and then you keep climbing up the ladder, and that was just it. And then from there, this is how people started shilling some sort of coins. I think it was Serum then. And then I found my way to get it on Uniswap, and then I got into the Uniswap airdrop. And from there, I was able to get some startup and go more serious with crypto. So that was just it. And I think that's a story for like a number of us there through the smart contracts in 2020. At least half of the young adults that I know about got into crypto through that way.
Yeah, you forgot to mention that you're actually also in NFTs because you have an art degree.
Yeah. I'm also an artist, and I've sold some couple of artworks as NFTs also. Yeah.
Okay, so then let's jump into the questions. So what do Nigerian people think about cryptocurrency? Are they really welcoming it, or they're kind of against it? Because I hear like different stories.
Okay, I think I would divide the responses into three. We have from the government part of it, we have from the young adults, and then we can have from the adults, the old ones generally. So I think I would start with the government. I feel like they're scared, or it's obvious that they're scared, and they obviously want a regulatory system, and crypto is kind of carving that out for them. So there's been this fear of, if we don't control how people spend money, before you know it, to be overboard, and we'll lose regulating people, we'll lose them, or we'll lose how to control them. We'll lose it that way. Let me just put it that way. And they've been putting up set of rules, but trust us, as young adults, we've always found ways to bypass that. Not like we're going against the rule, but we're just going against another rule, or we're just following another rule that's not been placed, or how do I put it? We're following another format that is not a rule, but it's also not against any rule. Let me put it that way. So just in summary, there is no full support, although they've been trying to put up their own systems. Like there's an era that actually came up. I still haven't seen the importance of it from my end, but for them, it's another regulatory system, or it's a digital currency. But to my opinion, it doesn't perform as much function as the blockchain and currencies in the blockchain. So they are looking for ways to regulate it, which is like saying no, they don't want crypto. That's just their formal responses. Now, for we young adults, it's a means of financial freedom for us. So we all embrace it. Although it's, to some extent, crypto is techy, and it takes a while for people that are not in the techy part of it, people that are not tech enthusiasts or understand the tech system, to have a grasp at it. But a lot of people are embracing it, even if not in-depthly. They're also using to do some transactions. I mean, some people just do Bitcoin exchange, maybe just to transfer money to their family abroad or loved ones, and that's all. While some of us understand the system and we're basically deep into it. Now we now have the adults that are in between. They're either not sure to be in support of the government or even supporters. But to some extent, when they see us as young adults doing great and maybe supporting them with that money that we're earning, there's this shift of, okay, maybe the governments are wrong this time around. Let me support what my children or my child is doing. So that's just like the sentiment around this so far.
Okay, so it's a little bit the same as the rest of the world then. Is there many physical gatherings where people really gather and talk about crypto, or is it really that the government controls it, and if you're in the gatherings that they come after you? How is that going?
Okay, in my knowledge, I've never heard about the government going to scatter a gathering. And yes, there's been a couple of, 2020, I attended a lot of, I got to even meet some influential people in the space that are Nigerians that I've just been seeing on Twitter with large followings. There's been a number of, if I recall, in November, I think I attended up to 3 or 4 in a month. Before November, because I was still a student, we had some school strikes, school was on hold. So during that period, I think founders or people really arranged meetups to get people busy with gatherings like that, to understand crypto or just talk about share ideas and all of that. So within 2-3 months, there were up to 10 gatherings. There were some I personally couldn't attend because there was no time, or because I attended one before. But sure, there are gatherings. Even as of last February, there was still about 1 or 2 that I know about. And sometimes they're from abroad, sometimes it's just within us as Nigerians. One I can quickly recall was with 3 Delights. People from Dubai came. We had Moonka, we had Da Vinci and the likes that came to Nigeria to talk about crypto. And yeah, even Binance owned meetup and all of that.
And is there any places where you can also pay with cryptocurrencies, actually, that you are aware of?
There are not many per se, but I'm aware of a few. There are times I've gone out and probably had issues transacting through my traditional banking system. I'm like, oh, this is why I love doing crypto. And the person is like, oh, so you do crypto? Okay, just pay me through that. That's sweet, that's faster. But it's just 1 in a million, not 1 in 10, it's 1 in a million, very few. There are restrictions to our daily transfers. So imagine you want to get maybe something quite expensive and you need to get it at that spot. You would have to make very large transfers. So I think they have to resort to using crypto, even if they were never using it. At that point, I feel they have to resort into that.
And
just 1 in a million.
Yeah, and just if we really look to cryptocurrency, so if we look on a global scale, we can see that like Bitcoin is popular, Ethereum is popular, but I can imagine in Nigeria, both of those networks are quite expensive. Is there any cryptocurrency that has the preference over the rest? Is there any cryptocurrency in Nigeria popular that doesn't have this state in the rest of the world?
Yeah, Bitcoin is way more popular. When you mention cryptocurrency, the only thing a number of people can tell you is Bitcoin. They feel that's the only thing. And when you start to mention some other tokens like Solana, like Luna, and others, they're asking, where did that come from? I thought Bitcoin was still, some people just got to open up to Ethereum, maybe because of NFTs or because it's like the power of decentralization, or that was where decentralization really came about. Or the most popular so far that has been is Bitcoin. Some people, if you're not transferring them Bitcoin, they don't know any other thing. And they don't even want any other thing in place of Bitcoin. And we have other people that do transfers. Their means of earning is just doing transfers. They earn something, do transfer from someone to another person abroad, and the only token they use is Bitcoin, or the only coin they use is Bitcoin. So it's way more popular than the rest of the other coins.
Okay, and how about Cardano? Because here in Europe, we hear a lot that Cardano wants to bank the unbanked in Africa. Is that really true? Is that popular even?
It's not. It's only amongst we the really deep into the crypto space.
Sorry, could you repeat that? Only amongst?
Only amongst we that are deep into the crypto space. If I was to mention another coin or 2 other coins that are popular to some extent, it's Ethereum and Litecoin. Okay.
And is there any centralized exchanges in Nigeria where you can swap the local currency for a cryptocurrency?
We have Binance that allows P2P, yeah.
Oh, P2P.
I personally make use of that. We used to be able to use our card, Visa or MasterCard, but then it was banned, sadly, 2021 February. The CBN and the federal government had to set up rules. So we are barely even able to do international transactions with our cards anymore.
So now we come into the reason of this call. What I heard is that people use phone prepaid cards to swap peer-to-peer to cryptocurrency. Is that happening, and how popular is that?
Okay, I think it's a bit misjudged in the sense that what we use to swap cryptocurrencies national or traditional notes, normal naira. We make use of naira. So that's the major thing that's being used. So you swap naira for Bitcoin, naira for Ethereum, the general thing everyone knows. And probably sometimes some people do the Bitcoin for probably PayPal or Payoneer or some other government fiat. Yeah.
And is that something safe? Do people meet up like peer-to-peer? I mean, I guess there's a lot of scams happening in peer-to-peer transaction as well, where you get robbed or you just deal with the wrong people. How safe is that in your opinion? I mean, you did it yourself as well, you said?
Yeah, when I wasn't really familiar with the ecosystem or blockchain as a whole, I got scammed, especially 2018, where I needed, like I said, when I introduced myself, I got into crypto through a Ponzi scheme. Well, I needed to get Bitcoin to run that Ponzi scheme. And I remember about once or twice I got scammed because I got into a group of people that said they could exchange my naira for Bitcoin, but I never saw it. And then I was all pained and all of that, but I had to recover. Then, well, I later got to meet some couple of trusted people in the sense that when we know amongst ourselves, or there's something, as much as bad news spread fast, some good news, or some people come highly recommended. So personally, I could talk to one or two persons that I'm interested in getting some tokens and I couldn't get them online, or my internet is faulty, and they could tell me, oh, I know this person I've transacted with that could do this for you. Smooth, trustworthy, and then we just go with that. So majorly, what we do now is going through word of mouth, but not just going on our own and saying, oh, I just saw this person, let me transact. I have to ensure that you have been doxed, you have a clean record, and you come highly recommended. But there's still some people that have not understood this and have gotten scammed. So I think we all have to, or in a way, we do just fall for the scam before we know what is right. Because we have to learn on our own at some point. Our traditional system doesn't allow for like a broad learning. So we have to do some things hidden. I mean, some guys even have to go out and hide their phones or hide their Binance apps, per se. So that's just it. Or their crypto wallets, hide it in their phone, a section among the hidden apps in their phones, just so they don't get caught.
So it's basically you buy the cryptocurrencies from one person, and if you have a really good service, you just go back to the same person. So it's not that you do a lot of peer-to-peer to others. It's basically like a drug dealer. It's just the same person. You come back to get your cryptocurrencies, right?
Yeah, well, yes. But personally, it's been very long I did that. It's been very long. So I've been majorly using Binance. I think for a while I also used some other systems. There was Luno, there's Quidax, there's Roku. Yeah, so you just buy, it's an app, so they pay you. There's also Velox, if I remember correctly. So there are some apps that have been doing that. So it's basically more trustworthy. But sometimes it could be delaying transactions. I mean, there was a time I tried to get BNB from one of those platforms, and then it took months of complaining that my transaction was successful on the blockchain, but I was not seeing it in that exchange wallet. It took months of going to the customer support and all of that before I got it. But the beauty was I got the BNB at very low cost. And the time it was released, I think I got it at $40. The time it was being released, BNB was about 300. So I didn't want to fall them, but I felt like, okay, they saved my money. But what if I needed the money urgently? That's a problem too.
Yeah, so with the customer service of Binance, I personally also have a really good experience. I think it's pretty good. They are the same as Kraken. I also use Kraken, great customer service. Without going too much into politics, I know that there were just elections, as you told me. Is that good for crypto, or is it a step backwards for crypto?
I think it would be good if it's been adopted on the blockchain, like election system, because a lot of things went wrong. I mean, there were video proofs that there were a lot of cheating and all of that. So, I mean, the blockchain, everything is being transparent. So I feel like if it's been adopted here, it will be a good thing for crypto. But we are not sure the view of the new governments that will be coming in.
Okay.
It will be till June. before the new president gets sworn in. So we are yet to even know its precise view, because we know a lot of things are going to change. It's this present government that changed things in 2021. We don't know what comes in store for us, whether it's going to be worse or good, but we know that we are going to find a way around it.
Okay, great. Then one last question. Is there anything we foreigners, so I'm from Europe, is there anything we foreigners don't understand about crypto in Nigeria? Is there anything that we are missing?
Oh, I think to some extent, we as Nigerians have trust in sense of P2P. Let me put it that way, because we've tried to build this trust amongst ourselves. Since the government doesn't allow for it, we have to now trust ourselves to be able to perform transactions. I don't think a lot of people understand that. And I think we have one of the highest volume on Binance P2P compared to other countries. I mean, they could just use their cards and they are done. So they don't have to meet someone and say this, say that. I think it has kind of built a bond amongst ourselves. I mean, there's some people that have gained some friendship through using the Binance P2P, and they were conversing, oh, my money is I'm waiting to receive my money. Oh, this other person is saying it's on the line and stuff like that. From there, conversations get sprung up. And there's way more wild adoption in the sense that our traditional banking system is not so good, not good. So we have developed our own means through in the crypto space, and we are people that are resilient to try to fight for ourselves, even if our government doesn't fight for us. So that's one amazing thing about us.
Okay, perfect. So those were my questions. Is there anything that you would like to add? Is there anything where people can follow you? What are you currently working on? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah, I'm very active on Twitter and probably LinkedIn too. But Twitter is like the first go-to place. I'm Victory on Twitter, spelled Victorry on Twitter, and then Victory Adewojo, the normal spelling of Victory, and then Adewojo on Twitter. And I'm presently working on LinkedIn rather, and then I'm presently working on a Web3 company. Yeah, it's a company. It's more like the easiest or simplest explanation. It's a Web3 Udemy or a Web3 Coursera. So it's more like an infrastructure that is built or put in place for other Web3 protocols or products to come build on. We would make the publicity available. They just come place their courses, not just crypto Web3 protocols, even experts in their field. So say you want to launch your course, but you don't have time for marketing, you could just come to our platform, launch it there. So there could be some free courses, there could be some paid courses. And I actually came about that because I just found out that there were some courses I didn't find on Coursera. I felt like there's no need for we Web3 people to really move into Coursera when we could actually develop something or explanations or topic that relates specially or specifically to the Web3 space. And also building certifications and all of that, credibility for majorly in the Web3 space. So that's what we're currently working on. I am a group of people. Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, because also if you would post a course on Coursera, like a large sum of the money sticks with Coursera and then you receive a small benefit from it. So I haven't heard this idea, but I think it's pretty great. Is it going to be aiming worldwide or mostly Nigeria? Is it your company or are you working for a company?
Okay, I'm actually the founder, and I personally don't want it to be just a Nigerian product. It's going to be on the blockchain, and we're currently working on our website. The white paper is ready. We're working on some pitch deck, and I'm even going to launch a class personally. Like I said in the introduction, I'm a Discord expert, so I'm personally going to be launching a Discord class. It's supposed to start this March, just to lay the foundation, and it's going to be uploaded on the website. There'll be certifications given. I mean, there will be QR codes for people to go confirm people's certification, just like the way it could be on Coursera and other platforms. So we want it to be worldwide, open to everyone to come build their courses on, or just come follow us, join us. And we're open to people joining. I've been trying to pick in members of the team. It's still a startup. Hopefully we'll get VCs to help fund us and make it wider.
Yeah, sounds interesting. So yeah, thank you for today's call, and maybe we can do a follow-up with your company because it's interesting where you're working on. And yeah, I hope to speak to you soon.